Like the guy that I'm talking to right now, that just naturally, when he just sent me a video really
Wasn't
quickly
he in bed?
No comment.
Nope.
Yes.
But okay.
But I told him when I texted you, I'm like, what did I say? I was like, shirtless or something.
Hey, you guys.
I love how you're like, we're not forgetting the handshake.
Can't forget our handshake. Hi, you guys.
Hi, welcome back to another episode.
Oh my gosh, we're so excited to have you guys here. This is so awesome. We are absolutely loving doing this.
Yes,
right?
we are.
I'm like,
No.
right? We're loving it. It's so fun. We're enjoying telling our stories. We're enjoying giving you guys advice.
Not expert advice.
Yeah, we want to clarify. And we're definitely enjoying getting some feedback from you guys. We are seeing all your comments and you're resharing our posts. It is so awesome. And we really love the love.
The love. She loves the love.
Yes. So how was your week?
My week was really good, actually.
Really?
I feel like I have so much to talk about. Like, one, when we went out.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so step back for a second. So Katie and I were like, hey, we need to get together and kind of brainstorm about our next episodes.
Right. We've done this a couple times before at the same place.
Right. We like to go to this fun little bar in Sherman Oaks, and we just kind of sit at the bar, and we have some wine and some yummy food we shouldn't be eating every time we
Too
go
many
there.
appetizers.
Yeah. And we just kind of write about different things.
Right. Like, kind of like what we're going to talk about or what we think we
Getting our ideas
down.
down.
Yeah, getting our ideas down.
Yeah.
Ideas down.
So this one was a little different.
This one was a lot different, not a little different. Usually we go and we talk to the bartender. We, they
kind of know us now a little bit.
Coming back and forth, a little small talk with people or whatever, like normal. Mm-hmm. Not this time, you guys.
So we had these four gentlemen.
Well, first we had the drunk guy.
Oh, yeah. There was the drunk guy to the right of Katie, and I couldn't even concentrate because I'm trying to talk to Katie.
I was literally trying to post something. Like we'd filmed that little video, and he was like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm posting on social media."
Yeah, he wanted to chat. We weren't.
He wanted to chat, and he had a little bit to drink.
Yeah. So he left, and then these four guys roll in to our left.
Yes.
And they were kind of cute.
Andrea was like making eyes and like turning over to me and be like, what about the guy? Because her back was to them a little bit, so she couldn't see them as well. Mm-hmm. And I had a little better view. But then she would turn around and talk to them. And so then she'd turn around back to me and she'd be like, do you see that other guy? Do you think he's cute?
Is he
like,
cute?
Is he looking at, like, is he looking over? And we're like, yeah. He's kind of cute.
So then they came over and chatted with us. And let me tell you, we got so much research done in that little bit of time.
Research, why? Because they were very flirty. So we're like, oh my gosh, they're kind of flirting with us. And we're like, just looking at the bartender. The bartender's like, you're having a good night.
We were.
Like, yeah, it was a good night.
Good ratio. It was 4-2. I mean, come on.
And then tell us what happened.
Come to find out that all four were married. Wah, wah. I'm sorry. Red flag. We are waving the red flag here because the reason why we're waving the red flag is, number one, they were very flirty. But number two, none of them were wearing a wedding ring.
And so we're like asking them about that. We're like, so none of you guys wear a ring? Do you not wear it? Do you not like it? Do you not have one? Like, oh no, it's not comfortable. And my wife knows I don't wear it. And there's
a lot of stories.
We could go on and on and on. We always say this, but that's a whole
nother podcast because we
episode.
got a lot of good information that we want to share with you guys, but we want to kind of compilate it all together. Yeah. So it's like a really good packed episode and maybe have even like a man come on to maybe defend them. I don't know. They might need some defending. So that was our Friday night. That was pretty cool.
That was fun.
Yes. That was fun.
So that brings us to today's topic.
So you matched.
Now what? Which is a great topic to talk about.
Because
I think
before we talked a lot about the different dating sites. If you all remember, you're watching, and if you haven't, please go back and watch and listen. But we swiped live on Bumble with some of Katie's new suitors, if you will. So we're going to kind of talk today about like the banter back and forth between, the person you're talking to, how that should kind of go. When is a good time to move off the app? Right? And just kind of take it offline and start chatting or FaceTime or whatever you want to do. We've got a few fun stories for you on this topic as well. And we have a question.
We do, because we opened an email. If you want to email us your questions at info@frommrs2ms.net.
Yes.
But we did have one come in just now. So we're going to try to answer this one for you.
Yeah. So we got a question from Annika, and she basically said that what do you do if your lover or spouse does not communicate with you and they think that you are untrustworthy, but you haven't done anything wrong?
What a great question.
It's a great question. Where do you go from there? What do you think?
I think if you haven't tried, like, talking to somebody, like a therapist or a friend, I think that could be the first step.
Mm-hmm.
To try to, like, talk it out, tell them with, like, a mediator involved, you know.
Yeah. I really think, like, communication is key, first of all. So if he's not communicating, that's really difficult to start with. But somehow you need to get somebody involved that's going to help you be able to talk things through and not have, like, a screaming, yelling match where you can just really talk it out. I think it's a little unfair that they're, not trusting when you haven't done anything, as far as we know. So
it's nothing you did wrong.
Yeah, don't blame yourself for that, Annika, and just try to get some help. And if that doesn't work, then maybe this just isn't the most healthiest relationship.
I was going to say that doesn't sound like a very healthy situation, but I do think you give them a chance to talk with somebody.
Absolutely. So that's our first question, and we would love for you guys to send us more questions at info@FromMrs.to Ms.net, and we will read out some of the questions online, and we will say your handle if you want and kind of call you out.
Right, if you want it to be anonymous, it can be anonymous as well.
Yeah. So, Katie, if we recall, everybody, I know we just talked about this, but we did some live swiping on our, I think it was the 3rd episode. We did that. And so Katie matched with 2 men online. So, Katie, give us an update. How's it going?
So, I think on the last one, the update was we were kind of chatting both back and forth. I was chatting with both of them. And it fizzled out with both of them, which is what I've learned is quite normal.
It's very
it happens
normal.
all the time. I feel like it's probably happened at least 3 times before that. Like, you'll match, you'll chat back and forth, like even just one message back and forth, and then it kind of goes silent on either side.
Sure why
it's just kind of like you're not feeling it, or the other one's not feeling it. Mm-hmm. So, but then like right after I matched with, and I don't remember the timeline, but so we matched with those 2 guys. I say we.
I know, we did it together.
I matched with those 2 guys like that night, and it was either that same night later on when we went out for pizza, or it was the next day I was swiping. It was very, very close on there. I matched with another guy that I've been talking to. That hasn't fizzled out.
So that's been, that's almost a week.
Yeah. Well, on
and off.
Getting close.
Okay.
Getting close to like a week. And, which I think this is kind of important, we've sent each other a video back and forth. Like, and it happened very naturally.
What?
Yeah, no, it happened naturally. So it was like right then I knew that he was who he said he was. Like his picture, he matched. He looked just like his pictures.
Nice.
And now he knows that I look like my pictures. And like we got to hear each other's voice. It was like a quick, 4 or 5 second.
I think that's really
smart.
And
then we've texted since then, so neither one of us scared each other off with our videos.
And that's good too.
The other important thing is, now that I know I'm not being catfished,
yes,
the next 2 worries I need to get through is to make sure he's not a Tinder swindler or a serial killer.
I don't know which one I'm cheering for.
Well, neither.
One or the other.
They're both red flags. I'm going to wave them. So that's just little things that I think about.
Okay. No, I know
we
you do.
got over one hump.
Yes, but there's 2 more to go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Okay, so let's talk about this. I think this is a perfect time to talk about, where do you go?
Right.
Okay, you've matched. Now what, right? So, if you're talking with a guy, let's talk about what that's kind of like. So
how to reach out and
how to reach out. So we talked about before on Bumble that the women reach out first. So what you really want to do is kind of find something in their profile that you have in common, something you have in common, something that interests you, and then you can kind of start with that. So if they have in their profile that maybe they like to play volleyball or they like to cook, I would often start out and say, hey, so what's your favorite dish you like to cook?
Andrea would be like, what are you going to cook me? When we go out on our first date, what are you going to cook? When I come over to your house, what are you going to cook
Katie,
me?
I would never go to a man's house on the first date. Come on. Oh, are you calling bullshit on me?
I'm calling it. Maybe not the first date.
Yeah, I would wait a little. Okay, so I really think that banter is super important. I always look for that real, because that's like the gist of it.
Banter is the fun part.
The bomb. Yeah,
the bomb.
When you're kind of like just have this really fun conversation, just going back and forth. It's real light. You don't want to get real heavy right off the bat. It's easy. You're just kind of learning each other, figuring out like geographically where you are, figuring out maybe do they have kids or what they do for work or what they like to do for fun. So
and Bumble makes it easier. I know I talk a lot about Bumble, but do you ever use the prompts where it tells you, like you play the little games in the chat? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Which I think
I haven't done that.
I've done it a couple times.
Oh, that's
and it kind
fun.
of does help you get to, the way it works is you send a question, but you answer that question, but it doesn't reveal the answer until you've both
and then you see if your
you see it at the same time. So I think that's
match.
helpful. If you absolutely don't know what to say,
That's really cute.
throw them a question. I think
Throw 'em
that's
a question.
helpful.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really good. So I think that's super important. I also think that it's super important to have what I like to call the 3-question rule. So for me, I like reciprocation when I'm talking to somebody. I don't just want to talk to like a blank wall. It's the same for me when I'm on a dating site. So if I reach out, I'm like, hey, so what do you like to do for fun? And they're like, well, I like to go to the movies. I like to go to the beach and travel. Crickets.
And then they want you to ask.
And then I'll go back and go, oh, okay, cool. So
what do you do for a living?
Yeah, what do you do for a living? I'm a civil engineer. I don't know why everybody's a
civil engineer now.
But then it's silent. And so for me, it's like 3 strikes, you're out. Like, how hard is it?
They've got to reciprocate.
How hard is it to write? You could put one letter. You?
Question mark?
That's it. And that gets me in. I'm like, oh, he wants to know about me. So it's really important that you remember that you want to learn about each other. This is not just a one-sided thing. And for me, if it's like 3 questions and they can't even once come back asking me,
then they're really not that interested, I think.
Yeah, they're more interested in themselves.
Yeah.
That's a narcissist.
That's a red flag.
A red flag. We are waving the red flags.
So we might let that chat fizzle out.
Yeah,
that one's
absolutely. Yeah. So that's good. Okay, so also we kind of want to know if they're real. Like, how do you verify if they're real? Now, I know a lot of the sites have the little verification check mark. They have you do this wild thing where you take like a picture. They show you what to do, and you have to do the exact same picture.
And that's not a public picture, so you don't really need to worry too much.
Yeah, you don't have to look good.
Yeah, it just needs to resemble.
Yeah, and if they're
look like yourself.
This up or
they're making you do all these
certain
so
things.
They know that.
Yeah, and then they verify
really
you.
you.
So that's pretty cool. But I also think that it's important to do like a FaceTime.
I do too.
Yeah.
But in like the guy that I'm talking to right now, just naturally, when he just sent me a video really
Wasn't
quickly
he in bed?
No comment.
No.
Yes.
But okay.
But I told him when I texted you, I'm like, what did I say? I was like, shirtless or something.
Yes. That's a good first little video.
It was appropriate.
Did you like what you saw?
Well, I chatted with him after, so
I guess you did.
Don't make me blush.
Oh, I love making her blush. I love doing that.
I think I am blushing. But it's early, so we'll just But I was saying the conversation is very easy.
Oh,
so like the banter.
So the banter's been good.
We're very
reciprocated
sarcastic.
questions.
Yeah, we asked each other back, and it was easy. It wasn't. Sometimes it feels like an interview, which I hate.
Yeah,
I felt like guys on here are like interviewing me, and I don't want to feel like I'm being interviewed. I understand like we need to get to know each other.
Yeah,
but there's a way.
I literally had a guy that started chatting with me, and his line of questioning, it was like really interesting because he'd go, as for me, I enjoy, everything started with as for me. As for me, I enjoy comedies, thrillers, dramas, action movies, and sometimes documentaries.
That's too.
And then immediately would go in, what's your favorite food? So it was a constant, and then I would answer with my food, and then he'd go, as for me, and he'd start again. It just got too robotic for me.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe us, too robotic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you took it offline, and...
Oh, yes. I took it offline a little sooner than I normally like to, on the advice of my bestie right here, because I texted her. Because I have
only but your best interest at heart.
Yes. And so he asked for my number pretty early on, and I usually have a rule that I don't give my number out until I've gone out on the little meet and greet.
Oh.
I don't usually give it out because I worry about what information they can find from your number. I really don't want them to know my last name this early on.
I feel opposite. Like, I don't even want to meet them unless we've chatted.
But you can chat on the app.
Oh.
And you can video chat on the app.
Oh.
So I just don't
You
normally...
didn't do either of those, though.
No. And so I texted Andrea. I was like, this guy wants my number.
I'm the worst person to text. So I'm
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, girl, go for it.
Next time I'll text my friend Jane. She'll be like, just stay home with me. We can watch Netflix. And I'll be like, okay,
You'll
I'll
never
be there.
get out of the house.
We won't.
So I guess that's the big question. When is it too early to get off the app? I don't know.
It depends.
Yeah, it just
honestly.
depends.
This one worked out
So far.
so
yeah.
far. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess he could still be a serial
Serial
killer
killer
Tinder
or
swindler.
Tinder
Now he's got
swindler.
my number.
But I don't see anything wrong with giving your number because I think that you can always block them after. Or you could even do, some people like to do WhatsApp,
Yeah, I'm not.
right?
I don't get
And
on
big
WhatsApp.
I think it's good for like foreigners and stuff when they don't really
You're talking
have
to
like
all
an
those
international plan. Yeah. I like my English people. I'm not even in the right. I don't know.
No, it was better on the last episode.
Yeah.
You nailed it on the one. I was like, oh,
Wait, because I only know one line. I've got to go to the loo.
Oh, she's got
there it
one
is. So
line.
if I say that one, I've got it perfect. That's about it. So yeah, you could do WhatsApp or you could do Google Voice.
I did sign up for a Google Voice, but we almost gave him that number. Again,
Yeah.
I say we because Andrea was
I'm in
helping
on
me
this all
out
the
here.
way.
It's like
I'm
I
going
could-
on the first date, folks.
But Google Voice is hard too because I don't think it does. Video chat. I don't think it does. So that would have been.
so you would have missed out on the bedroom shot.
I would have missed out. But he could have sent it to me on Bumble. I don't know why I listened to Andrea, but I did. And
Well,
here
when
we
you
are.
get married one day with this here suitor, you will be grateful
I'll be
to me for
and
allowing
Andrea
you. I'll be your best.
told me to give my number way earlier than I should have.
Yes. So I don't know. It's kind of whenever you feel comfortable is where we're going with that, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. When you
Or
think
when you
it's-
don't feel
or
comfortable.
when you don't feel.
Your
Yes.
best friend's like, hey, just go for it.
Exactly.
I also say, though, because I have told a guy, it was first date guy, that he asked for my number too. I think that I understand that a lot of people don't like to be on the app chatting. I don't
Okay.
mind chatting on the app, but he
But for
asked.
how long? I don't want to
I
be
mean,
pen pal.
I'd say after you go out the first time is usually my rule. And he asked.
Oh, you chat on the app
You
until
chat on
you
the
go
app
out.
until you go out, and then
Okay.
if he asks for my number, I think it's more organic that way, in just my opinion. But I understand. But this guy date one asked for my number, and I didn't give it to him. I said I don't give my number out until I've met in person, and he was fine with it.
Okay.
And then I have had a guy ask for it, and then he didn't chat anymore after I said no. So I mean, it just depends.
Interesting.
But I think that guy was one of those fake accounts. Have you come across those where they're
Yeah.
not really who you can? I've gotten better at telling. I don't get them as much. Maybe it's when you first sign up. The
Yeah.
fake accounts are like flooding in. I used to have where you could tell it was not a real person on the other end.
Interesting.
And like one like, oh, let me have your number, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to give that out yet, and like never heard from him again.
So I remember that I had one date when I was chatting with a guy on the app and we agreed to meet. So just like you're saying not to do. And I didn't have a phone number or anything for him. So I went to meet him and he stood me up. He was not there. He was not
But you could
there.
have texted him on the app.
No, he deleted it.
Oh.
I don't know
that's
what happened between when I left the house and got there. But again, I just don't think that was probably not a real.
Yeah, probably
Yeah,
wasn't.
that's a catfisher. Yeah.
He just stood you up.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, next question. How much research do you think you should do on someone once you get their number?
Once you get their number? But see, normally I don't get their number
Okay,
right
once
off.
you get their full name.
Once I've matched, and if there's something on, like if they put where they work, because some guys do put where they work, I will Google that. Because I'm still trying to make sure they're who they say they
Don't
are.
you notice everybody puts that they're a CEO?
They're a CEO.
There are so
of-
many CEOs out there.
Yeah, they do. And then
Yeah.
some people don't put anything. Like this guy,
Yeah.
I don't know. We
You
haven't.
still don't know what he
Yeah,
is?
because he hasn't asked me either, which I like because I'm like, my answer is kind of complicated. Like, what do you do for a living? Well, let me try to explain that. So,
Yeah, and he's like
we
a
haven't
civil
asked, but
engineer.
yeah, he's probably a civil engineer. But we just have been talking about like movies and like I like kind of like that kind of
Oh, that's
stuff.
fun.
So
That's fun.
I don't
That's
know
fun.
much about this guy, but He's funny.
He's funny?
And he's who his pictures are, so sign me up for
I am liking this. You're getting a green flag so far.
I get a green flag or he gets a green flag? We're waving the flag.
Yeah, I don't know. You're both getting a green flag for that one. That's pretty good. I like it.
Yeah, so I feel like you also want to leave enough to talk about at the first date.
Yes. So my as for me guy left nothing to talk about.
You're like, well, nice meeting you. I know everything
and I'm
about
not even
you.
joking. It was a very long-winded conversation of I know everything about him. Absolutely everything.
Civil engineer?
Yeah, just another one of those.
So I gave this guy my number a little sooner, obviously, than I wanted to, because I'm like, all the things I had said, like, what information can he get from my phone number, like safety and privacy wise, but also like, what if now you don't want to talk to him anymore, and he like keeps texting you, like, what do you do?
What do you do?
Like, I don't want to talk to this guy anymore.
Yeah, I mean,
I've been polite, and I've been like, hey, I'm just not feeling it anymore. Now he's got my number.
See, and I'm not a blocker. I'm like too curious.
She's just like, I could block him.
I would block a dick pic.
Oh,
my
yeah,
God, that's a cock blocker.
Yeah.
That is totally a
Look
cock
at
blocker.
you.
I know. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I would totally.
So you would block?
No, only
that.
bad pics, but like normal stuff.
So you've given your number out, and you don't ever, like,
not unless it's like harassment. Like,
okay. Has that happened where you're?
Yeah, I had one guy send a creepy picture once. It was a GIF thing, GIF, I don't know.
GIF or GIF?
Yeah, one of those, and it was a picture of him behind the blinds, peeking out. And the blinds looked exactly like the ones in my apartment. So that's freaked
scary,
me out, because I was like, wait, is he here? It was weird. So I blocked that one. But I do have a really funny story, though.
Of course
I do.
Let me hear it.
So this is kind of in line with like what you do when you get off, and then you're talking off the app, and then you don't want to go out or whatever that might be. Okay, so I was talking to this guy, and it was going well online, really cute pictures and stuff. And we had a lot of conversation before. So we decided to get off the app, which was great. I'm all for that. So we got off the app, and we were still chatting. Everything was fine. He asked me if I wanted to go out. Like, I think it was on a Sunday or something. So he asked me if I wanted to go on a Sunday, like at 6 o'clock. So we had a plan. So
we had a good plan.
We had a good plan. Then it's like getting closer to the week or to the date, and he sends me some more unsolicited pictures of himself. It wasn't like bad. It was It was him. I didn't ask. I didn't ask for them. I probably should have, because
he's sending them, and you're like, oh.
And I'm like, oh, yay, picture. And then I'm like, oh, wait. And then I have to go back on the app and look, and I'm comparing the two. It was him. It was him.
Okay, so it wasn't a catfish.
It wasn't a catfish. He just looked different, as if the pictures online were maybe from 10 years ago. So now it's like a totally different person. And so that's a big thing. You want to like make sure your pictures are fairly recent. I think within a year.
I think so too.
I think is fair. So anyway, the pictures were no bueno. I mean, and he just kept sending them. And I was like, stop, make it
Because if they'd been good-looking pictures,
I would have been like, come on, give me more. So I was not really into these pictures at all. So now I've got this date coming up on Sunday, and I'm starting to sweat it, because I just I'm not excited anymore. He's just not.
No more butterflies.
No more butterflies. There was nothing. And I was really like, oh, I don't want to go. And so that's another thing we can talk about. Like, do you have to go?
No.
But Sunday comes along, and all day I'm just like moping around the house.
Oh, no.
I don't want to go on my date tonight. So we're supposed to go at 6. It's now 5. I'm still laying on the couch, forcing myself to get up. I'm like, do I even shower? I don't know. What's the point? And then he texts me.
Or shave? Did you shave?
No, I let that shit grow in for a week. So then he texts me. He has a flat tire. And he's like, I am waiting for AAA. I don't think I'm going to be able to go on the date tonight. Can we reschedule? I'm doing my happy dance. I'm like, woo, woo,
perfect.
woo, we're not
That's
going
nice.
out. I don't care if he's lying or not. I'm out of this, which is great, right? Because I kind of didn't want to go.
You're like, I don't care if you're trying to get out of this too. Like, this is great.
Totally fine by
Okay.
me. So I'm like, whoo, I didn't even move off the couch yet. This is great. So he asked me if I want to go out Tuesday.
Oh, no.
In hindsight, again, I should have just been like, you know what? I don't think so. Or just, ended it there. But instead, this is early on when I don't really know how to communicate well or what to say. I was like, okay, sure. So now it's only the same thing. Moping for the next 2 days, all sad and weary.
Aw.
So, well, you won't even believe what happened then. So Monday comes, and I'm seriously dreading this date on Tuesday. So it is like, I don't know, it's probably midnight on Monday. And I'm like done. I'm like, you know what, Andrea, you don't want to go on this date.
You don't have to.
Yeah, you don't have to. Just tell him. So I text him. I might have told a little white lie. I said something about that I had to watch my I think my cousin's kids or something, and I wasn't going to be able to go out Tuesday night. So this is Monday night at midnight. I text it. I put the phone down. I slept so good.
So good. You're like,
so good. Out of relief.
right.
So next thing I know, I wake up in the morning and I have text after text after text from this sweet man.
Sweet man.
So I look at the first text and it starts out, oh no, I'm so sorry to hear that. And you know when it's
Did
like
he triple text you?
Oh, it was like 20 texts. Or you know when people are like, they do a line, ting,
Yes.
ting, ting. This is what he did all night. This is, by the way, at 2 a.m. in the morning when I saw. So he basically said, oh, no, I'm so sorry. What a bummer. And then maybe we should reschedule for another night. And it kind of went on like that. Like he was, oh, that's just disappointing. And then it took a turn all of a sudden. I had not responded to any of these because remember, it's in the middle of the night. All of a sudden, my next text from him, eat a bag of dicks.
This is the Costco guy.
The Costco guy. Can I get those at Costco? Do they come in bulk?
Oh my gosh.
Do they come hard? I don't know. Because, man, if I can get that on my own, I don't need you anymore.
Wow.
So from there, eat a bag of dicks. Next one, you're not that pretty anyways. I didn't ask. I didn't even ask. I know. Third one, can I say this? Fake ass titties. I don't even know. I was like,
He did not.
oh, yes, he did. Boom, boom, boom. And I'm like,
so mad right now.
she is waving the red flag.
You're kidding me.
Oh, yeah. It was bad. And I'm like,
This is why I don't want to give my number out.
and then,
I guess you could have said it on the
she's
app
like,
too.
oh, well, now I'll chase you. Now I want to go out with you.
No, Andrea,
I did not. No.
That's your red flag.
No, I
waving for
didn't.
you.
I'm serious. But I'm thinking, is that the way you get somebody back then? Like, if my story was true,
He's an angry, angry man.
angry man. If my story was true, that I really did have to take care of my cousin's kids, and he responded with that,
my
am I
God.
now going to want to go out with him? He didn't even give me a chance to respond or
He really liked you.
reschedule. I made him very upset. And the funny part about that is he canceled our date like 15 minutes
Right.
before. I gave him a full 24 hours
Wow.
notice. Yeah.
Wow.
I know. That's where that came
That's
from.
the story.
That was a good
Been waiting a
story.
long time for that one.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, like I guess he could say those same things to you on the app.
Yeah, we could have. He could have done all of that on the app.
I think my fear of giving the phone number out is what kind of information can they get from you or about you from your phone number?
Oh, yeah.
Can they?
How much Googling
How much-
can
yeah.
you do? Yeah, you can do a
Reverse
reverse phone
lookup.
search. Yeah, you can. But you know what? The internet is so, I mean, they could get, like you said, somebody lists their job and you've got all this information about them. You go and
Right, that's
search
true.
them. Or if they're a realtor, I just looked that up. Instagram.
Oh,
I try to find.
it's very easy
I've
to find.
even looked sometimes when I'm looking through their pictures and there might be something that gives their name. If they have a name tag and I blow that
you're
up.
like the FBI
I blow it up
investigators
and go
over
like,
here.
yeah.
I've done that.
I think you need to do some Googling.
But can't you do something with a picture too? That just can't you
There
put a
is something
picture
on
in?
Google. You can put a picture in and it can scan that picture and tell you who that person is.
So you can only be so careful, and then it's
Yep.
nothing on the internet's private.
No. I don't think there's anything wrong with doing a little Googling first.
Oh, I don't
to know
think so
who you're
either.
going out with.
I don't think so either.
Make sure they're legit. I think that's good.
I think so too.
Okay, so that's our stories. Oh my gosh. I always have some really fun stories for you guys, and at least this is somewhere for me to tell them.
Tell them to the world.
Yeah, so we thought we would do a fun little do's and don'ts with you guys and kind of let you know some do's and don'ts to do.
Like after you match.
And don't. After you match.
Do and don't.
Yeah, so we've got top 3 for you here. So one thing you want to definitely do is to really start the conversation out with a bang, just kind of like what we talked about.
Yeah, don't just say, hey.
Yeah, don't just say, hey. You can say whatever you want. This is like your shot to kind of sell yourself a little bit and show them. And I've even seen sometimes some people will put in there like, hey, give me more than just a hey, because that's what people are looking for.
Right.
I don't want the guy that just says hey or hi. I want a little bit of substance there.
I agree.
So again, look through their profile, find something fun and interesting that you can relate to, and start with that.
The second one would be honest. Don't try to be someone that you're not. I think that's very important.
Well, I think that relates into, like, if you're just looking for a casual hookup, then just say it.
Yeah.
Because you don't
be
really
need,
need, because what's going to happen later, now all of a sudden you're pretending that you're wanting a relationship, and then you end up just wanting like a casual relationship. And what's the point then? Because you guys aren't aligned. And I think that's really important because you want to find the people that are aligned with you so you can kind of journey together. So I think that's really good.
I love this one. Take it slow. Unless you're Andrea. Not saying you're fast.
Thank you.
Right?
I didn't know where you were going with that, Katie. Oh my goodness. No, I agree. Take it slow. You know what,
take it slow.
I do now.
See? Well, I wasn't that far off.
And I'm trying to be fair to this because I know there's a lot of people out there that are listening that are newly divorced, newly starting to date. And I know what that feels like. There's anxiety. You feel impatient. I had a lot of impatience. Like, I couldn't, I told you I was the triple texter. I'm like, why is he not responding?
Oh, that's true.
Hi, what are you doing? Are you still there? It was terrible, because I was just had this anxiety because it's so new and you don't know what you're doing, you know? So,
and like this guy that I'm talking to right now, we don't text every day.
Yeah.
It's like, it's okay.
It's kind of set the precedence for how you want the relationship to go.
Right.
I'm an everyday texter. I like that.
I don't need to text every day.
Oh, God, I love that.
I don't mind.
Why can't I be like that?
I mean, if you want to text me every day, but I don't know, just like...
Yeah, it's okay.
I think eventually, if like, I think I would want to talk to somebody that I'd gone out with a couple times, like, hey, how was your day type thing, but I don't know if we're to that level.
And I think it will pick up more once you do have a first date or if you do another FaceTime, then you get a little bit more comfortable.
I'm happy with the speed it's going. Take it slow.
Yeah. So, just take it slow. Take your time getting to know them, get a connection built and all that good stuff. Those are our 3 do's. Okay, so now we have the 3 don'ts of what you should not do. And boy, oh boy, where's my bag of dicks guy? Do not be rude or offensive.
Agreed.
Yeah, don't use offensive language. Oops.
Well, I was going to say, unless it's like appropriate. Like, I don't know, when would it be? Don't be rude.
Is it appropriate to tell me to eat a bag of dicks?
No, that is absolutely not. But it's
so
not like you can't use foul language if it's not like saying it to you. Like,
oh yeah, like
you know
if you're
I mean?
just in the middle of conversation. Yeah. No, that's
don't
totally
be
fine.
rude.
But yeah, don't be rude.
Don't
and don't be
that
offensive.
Guy. What's his name? Should we call him out?
I don't even remember.
We'll
he was a vagabond with his bag.
That's good.
He's a vagabond. That's his name. Okay. Second don't.
Don't be too aggressive.
Oh, God.
I don't think that's triple texting.
Oh, good. Okay.
Don't you think that's like maybe coming on too strong? Like maybe?
Yeah.
I guess it could be either way, but I think...
Well, in a weird way where you're not even respecting somebody's boundaries. See, I am not about the guy that is like right off the bat just telling me about like what he wants to do. And I'm talking, when they just get in this like...
Not like I want to go to the beach.
No.
Not what he wants to do on the first date, like walk on the beach. Like,
no, that's not what he wants to do.
That
on the
early
first
on,
date.
like they're going to tell you, like.
Well, I think that's somebody that's just testing the waters.
Right.
I don't think they're really interested in like having a relationship, and they're really more. There again is probably the person who's looking for a casual relationship, but they're pretending they want a long-term relationship because you can get further, right? So I think he's kind of just testing to see how you're going to be about it. I'm just not for that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm
not big on, when they just keep saying things and I'm like, it gives me like, ugh. Yeah. I'm like, could we just talk normal for a minute?
Right. I think you got to read the room. Take it at a pace that you're both comfortable with.
Absolutely. Yeah. So don't share too personal information too soon.
Right.
I think I'm okay with doing like a phone number and giving that because I think you can.
But your address
or your private personal, your bank account.
Do not give your bank account to those Tinder swindlers.
That is exactly what happens in that.
Be careful with your personal information. And don't send somebody money. That's a scam.
That is absolutely.
If someone's asking you to borrow some money,
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Send them to me.
Yeah, send you the money?
No, yeah. If you're going to send money, send it this way.
Over here.
If you're giving it out anyways, why not? So that's our episode.
Why? Okay.
Do you want to say it?
No.
Okay.
Just not going to look at you.
So that's our episode for today. Thank you. Oh my God. Just give us a minute. We just.
For the last 10 minutes, we have not been able to get ourselves together, and we're laughing for no reason. But that is. Okay, that's a wrap on another episode. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That's a wrap on this week's episode of From Mrs. to Ms.
Yes, and you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and for watching us. And there's a new episode coming out every Friday, and they just get funnier and funnier as they go. As do we. I'm sorry, we had a big laughing episode a few minutes ago, and so we're trying to recover from this. But don't forget to follow and rate and review From Mrs. to Ms. wherever you get your podcasts, and subscribe to Past Your Bedtime on YouTube for full new episodes. Don't forget, we want you guys to email us your stories or your questions or your feedback. We'd love to hear from you guys. You can email us at info@FromMrsToMs.net. And we are looking forward to hearing from you guys and saying your questions online. So that's it for today. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.